Hey guys, Tim Gillette with the Tim Gillette Show, and I am back here for another podcast interview with the lovely Sarah Buxbaum. I said it right?
You did.
Oh, what? On the shoot, I do it right. Cool.
First try.
Oh, wow. You know how many times I usually have to do like 4 takes to do that?
Good, you got it first try.
So I met Sarah through my buddy and her buddy too, all right, Craig Duswalt, and through Tony Caruso, who's the event planner. And over the past, I guess, year and a half, we've gotten to be closer friends. Well, a little bit closer now since I decided to jump on an investment opportunity. She loves me now.
I do.
Yeah, she's going to love me when she does the next one and I put a bigger amount of money in.
I'll always love you.
Yeah. They say that in the beginning, you know?
Right.
So anyway, Sarah, I was really intrigued with your business model. First of all, I mean, you do stuff in Los Angeles, or you're north of town, right?
Yeah, I'm about an hour north of LA, but I do events in Los Angeles all the time.
So tell us about the business you have now, and then we'll talk about the business you're growing to, the way you're growing out. So.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I do dessert catering for events, usually weddings, a lot of birthday parties and some bar mitzvahs and things like that. But I create kind of this ginormous centerpiece for whatever event the client is hosting through dessert, and kind of creating this backdrop for photos and this full experience during their wedding to enjoy some dessert, take some pictures, kind of create those lasting memories in unique and fun ways. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of the basis of what I do. I specialize in mini desserts. So I do a lot of baking, and now I have a lot of people who specialize in other things that have come on to help me make it even bigger. But yeah, I do desserts for a living.
I mean, that sounds like a fun business. First of all, I mean, are you the taste tester? I'm just curious.
I don't eat a lot of it now, but I have tried all of my original recipes, but I purposely created the recipes so everything would be exact, so I don't have leftovers.
Yeah, the leftover things, that's like me I do barbecue ribs. That's my thing. It's my personal hobby here at town. And I make them all the time, and I eat 1 or 2, and then I take the rest of the rack down to Starbucks and I give them to people. And I'm like, why? I felt like cooking today.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's funny because when I love dessert still, even though I've been around it for 15 years. But I still I don't crave my own things.
Oh,
I went to Sprinkles the other day and I got a cupcake.
Wow.
Because it's different. I'm so used to, my stuff that I like getting it from other people where I don't have to cook it.
Yeah. So you don't do ice cream ones, do you?
I don't.
That's like my thing. My wife still doesn't get that. I will go buy an ice cream cake from the store because I like ice cream cake.
My first job, though, at Carvel when I was 15, I made ice cream cakes. So I know how to do them.
I really can't imagine that being a great display to take to a wedding.
No.
I can picture it melting in the car on the way, yeah.
Most of my stuff is outside, usually for outdoor weddings. I don't think ice cream would go so well.
Wow. So how did you get into that? What was the path behind getting there?
Yeah, I mean, I always knew I would be an entrepreneur. I think I always knew I'd have my own business. I kind of got interested in the food side of things at that first job when I was 15. And then I got diagnosed with celiac disease, so I had to eat gluten-free. And so there wasn't at that time, 15 years ago, 14 years ago, whenever that was. So I started making my own stuff, and then people were having me make stuff for them because there wasn't anything that existed. So I did it as a hobby for a long time. I never thought I would be doing it how I'm doing it now. And then I got into the food and beverage industry through hotels. I loved being in the event world and the chaos, and it's different every day, and just creating experiences for people. And so that's kind of how I got here. It was a lot bumpier than that.
The journey always is bumpier than that.
Yeah, I was in a previous partnership before I started this, and I was kind of forced into, do this now because you have nothing to lose, and make it work.
Yeah.
Or you're going back to corporate, which I didn't want to do. So I made it work.
It's funny that you said it, Sarah, because I had a bad partnership too. And it was one of the things I was in the middle of it right about the time I was going through my first divorce. And it, like, you know, the guy, I've not talked to him in 20 years now, but it was a partnership deal that was just, it went sour. And I'm like, crap, I got to get out of this. And I got to find something else. And I get it. You know, I went and got a job because I needed to eat. I didn't think at your age, I was your age at the time, like, oh my gosh, go create another business, you know?
That's,
I went,
kind of what happened.
yeah.
Yeah. I found out right around the holidays that I wasn't getting a check anymore. And that was, I had all these bills, and I luckily had moved back in with my parents. So at least I didn't have a mortgage or anything, but I was driving for Uber to make sure my medical bills were paid. I didn't really tell anybody about it. I was selling, which is so funny. I just found this on the day 4 years later on a little receipt book. But I was selling pictures. I've been to South Africa twice, and I had these beautiful photos. So I printed them and I framed them, and I was selling them to try to make, I mean, I was selling pictures. I was just trying to make ends meet. And then my mom's friend, who's a close family friend, wanted me to do dessert for her daughter's baby shower. I was like, I can't do that. I don't have a business to sell cupcakes. She's like, yeah, but you're good at it, and you can do it for your friends. And, you know, and that was really the start of it. I once I kind of saw the reaction from people, it's like, you could maybe do this. And so I went down to the health department, figured out what I needed to do, and 4 years later, here we are.
You're still going very strong, you know.
Very strong. Yeah, this is the best my business has been doing since it's kind of, I've been lucky that it's been a pretty solid, positive, growing business since day one.
Yeah. You never had to sell the shirt off your back?
I mean, yeah, I was selling clothes on Poshmark. Yes.
I used to sell my watches. I had it. That was like my side thing. I'd go to the mall. I'd buy these watches, and for like $19, I'd buy two for like 20, and I'd sell them at $30 a piece off right up my wrist.
You have to do what you have to do. I mean,
you gotta eat.
Like, even when your job stops and your paychecks stop, like your bills don't stop.
No, they don't. No.
It's I went through my closet. I'm like, what can I sell? What don't I need? Even if it was $5. I mean, I literally had $6 in my bank account when I got my health permit to start this business and my business license that day. And so, yeah, I mean, literally anything that I had that I thought somebody would want, I sold it.
Yeah. It's just, and it's like, you have the tools, like online tools that we didn't have. I mean, I was selling the shirt off my back when we didn't have the internet. All right. I remember I was going through a tough time, and I had next to no income. My business was starting up, and I had this t-shirt that said, it was embroidered, stitched sweatshirt that said "Millionaire in Progress" with a Corvette on it.
Oh my gosh.
And I loved it. I mean, this is a t-shirt I loved. It was a warm t-shirt. I literally had it for like almost 20 years, and it still looked new. Right. And I literally walked into like a McDonald's or something one day, and I mean, I was broke, and I'm like, yeah, give me $1 burger. And the guy's like, oh, I like that shirt. And I looked at the shirt, I looked at him, and I said, really, how much would you buy it for? And he said, I'll give you $25. I said, sold. And I took it right off and gave it to him and got the cash and left.
Wow.
And I had $5 in my pocket. I left with 30. I was happy.
It's a good day at McDonald's.
Yeah, good McDonald's day there. So yeah. Anyway.
That's
awesome. I'm sorry. So you made the journey. You started on your own. You've been doing this for about 4 years. All right. And now I understand you have visions of greater places you want to go, right? Do you have can I ask you first, do you have a big vision of what you want to create this into now?
Very, very big. Okay. Very big, but I'm also, because of my past, I feel like I'm a pretty, I make decisions with a lot of intention behind them. So I love the whole dream and just think as big as you can, but then I'm also very realistic. Like, how can I get there? What's it going to take? What's it going to cost? Who do I need help from? So now, once I've really recognized that people hire me because of this, they enjoy working with me. They like my dessert. They love my product and my vision and everything, but they like that my little like touch that I put on things. And kind of through the last couple years of learning that about my clients is when my next idea came. And I loved working in the hotel industry. I love when you check in somewhere and you just get that like special feeling. And so I mean, a lot of it stemmed from joining Craig's mastermind. I didn't know a lot of other people thought the same way I did.
Yeah.
And so I started asking questions and asking you guys. I mean, you were there in the bar that night when we were talking. I'm like, wait, I could do this. Like, and so now I want to have a full, I mean, I don't want to call it an Airbnb or a hotel because it's kind of a mix of both. But a vacation rental, that's just better than what anyone else is doing because it's more thought out. There's a lot of things that are going to be different depending on the location. And the first one is in Nashville because I love it there. And it's a good place to do it. But yeah, I see it being in multiple states. You know, who knows, maybe it'll go international, we'll see. And just kind of doing this like boutique kind of feel, hotel meets Airbnb or vacation rental type thing, and being able to reach more people.
Yeah. So before we go into it, I want to go in there in a minute here and describe the actual concept you're doing in Nashville, because that's one of the reasons I'm really attracted to what you're doing right now. But before we go there, I want to ask you on that, because you know, you said something that really triggered me, that I'm realistic. In our industry, there are so many people who hit us with you gotta be positive, and you're like, yeah, I really want to go like, positive don't pay the effing bills, dude.
No. No, I mean, I'm a dreamer. Yeah. And I know I will make huge impacts on the world and all that, but you need to know how you're going to do that. You can't just, and so many people, especially entrepreneurs, we all think we can do everything, and we think, you know, these huge things, and you really have to sit down and think. I mean, I spent pretty much 6 months talking to, you know, I hired a lawyer, I hired all the people to help me really walk through the steps of how I'm going to do my next big move. Even though that part isn't the fun part. I mean, I want to be in Nashville right now, building it. Yeah.
But the journey is what you're going through now.
Yeah. And you want the strong foundation. I think what I've learned with how I grew this business, because I didn't have money and I didn't have a ton of support. Everyone thought I should go back to working in hotels. I had a great job there. And so making all those decisions, like, is that $10 going to make me $100? Yeah. Or do I just not spend that money? And all these little things, I think has led me to be very realistic, maybe to a flaw, but I really think things through and look at, yeah, I want it to go right, but there's obviously a chance things could go wrong. What are those things? Yeah. And
do you know your numbers? Do you watch your numbers? Do you watch your books, or do you have someone else watch the books and say, just keep me advised on it?
No, I do. I know every single dollar that comes in and out of my business. And a lot of it was because I had to. I mean, if I had started my business with money, I would have hired a bookkeeper. Yeah. But I was like, oh, no, you only have $4 and you need to buy $5 worth of ingredients.
So I have a bookkeeper. It's called a wife, but you don't have one of them, I guess. You know,
I didn't have one of those. Yeah. I like seeing, you know, for the next project, I will have a lot more hands involved because I'm working with a property manager, and it's a lot more complex, I guess. But no, I like knowing where I'm at, and what needs to happen, like what else needs to come in if I want to do this, or if I like knowing. I'm a little bit of a control freak.
Yeah, it's, you know, and I asked that around that things, you know what I mean, when you said that, the realistic, all right, and you're saying, you know, I watch my numbers in my business, all right, I know like what my outgo is, I know what my income is, right, my standard. But other than that, I don't want to look at my bank account. I don't know if you're this way. I don't want to look at my bank account on a daily basis. I have things in there to tell me warning signs.
Yes.
But if I look at like, oh my God, I only have $100 left, I go into survival mode and I'm not in creative mode. And for me, it ruins my business. But my business entirely is creative, all right, for like creating content. So if I'm not creative, there's not going to be no new money coming in. So it's like I had to set that off. But some people, like you said, they can't All right. They can't, they have to run, I mean, they have to know it.
Well, that's a good point though. Like I don't check my bank account every day because
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Like it stresses me out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to know. I mean, I want to know everything, but it's not something I need to obsess about every
Yeah.
day. So I would say maybe once a week.
Mm-hmm.
But before like I make a big order or a big decision, like when I hired my lawyer, I really went through and did all that. But I don't obsess over it, and it's not because I have a ton of money or any of that. I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good for creative people
to
kind of put things that can just damper your creativity.
But you do have to know, it's like, I don't know how much money I've made this year, but I will at the end of the year. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I don't follow that. Like, well, how did you make $1 million this year? I don't know. I really don't care. All right. Yeah. I'll tell you that's next year's problem.
Yeah.
Right now it's work time. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's
I agree.
The be positive versus being realistic type thing, and I've always been that way myself. And I'm just curious if you're that way as well. So let's get into this project you're doing in Nashville. It's something that I kind of in a way partnered with you into it.
Yep.
All right. But in a way I'm a partner, but I'm not. And I love this idea, but I want to talk about the idea you're doing, and let's kind of like tell the listeners what it is so they can get excited about it like I am.
Yeah, and me, I'm so excited. So I'm opening a house, a girls' weekend, whether it be for bachelorette parties or business retreats or, a reunion with your friends or whatever. It's going to be a very feminine, fun experience, a place, I think if you're spending the money to do something,
mm-hmm.
Celebrate something, it shouldn't be, you don't go to dinner and look at it as, oh, I just want to go eat something to fuel me. You want to go
mm-hmm.
and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's the same way when you're checking into a hotel or you're checking into wherever you're staying for the weekend. It's not just a place to drop your bags. It's, I'm a very, I don't want to say like too homey, but like I am, like I like being comfortable when I'm somewhere. And I wanted a place where people can go and because they are celebrating, for the most part, statistics of Nashville is
mm-hmm.
it's the number one city for bachelorette parties. So it's a huge time in their best friends' lives. They're getting married. And I was there, and that's where the idea came. And I'm like, how could I get my hands on this and make it better with my touch, even though I don't live there. I live in Southern California. And my wheels just started turning, and I started talking to people, and eventually it evolved into what it is now, hopefully opening in March of next year. And it's just going to be a very quaint little house with a ton of photo worthy spots. I love flowers. I incorporate those into all my dessert tables. So the landscaping of the house is a huge design piece I'm working on. I want there to be a lot of spots for people to capture their memories and share about it on social media. And I just want to reach as many people as I can. One, because I want to be part of their celebration, but I've tied back my foundation that I started a long time ago. So there's a percentage of every stay that these people are being able to make an impact around the world by going and celebrating something. And so the more people that know about it, it's just going to touch a lot of people in a lot of different ways, which is what I'm super, super excited about.
So, I mean, but it's a girls' celebration house. So like I don't know if you remember the movie with Ryan Reynolds where they had that guy Ramon that was everything in town. Can I
Yes.
put my services in? You remember Ramon? Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm bartender by day, male dancer by night, podcaster by afternoon. Yeah.
Right.
I could be Ramon.
You can go bartend if you want. I mean, we'll see. I'll have to interview you.
Yeah, I could go be Ramon. Yeah.
We'll talk.
Ramon. Yeah,
That's the premium.
You do not want to see this in that outfit. I'm just saying. No, it does not work that well.
Probably not a good idea.
Nah.
Probably not.
So, but anyway, it's interesting because you picked a city that is big for one thing. All right, very wise decision there. You've also picked it for the fact that the city is very popular right now. All right. And you also picked it for the design of like, this is the place to start. All right. This idea. All right. What are some, and I know you've told us some of the other special things that you are going to do for those people who are helping you out. And I want to go into where, the services you're using, the lawyer and stuff like that. So
Yeah. So I, first, when I was thinking about Nashville, I thought, I can't afford to buy a house in California right now.
hmm
And the real estate market looked good. And that's kind of how I started with Nashville. And then I realized, well, maybe I should get a loan. And that whole process was very scary because I was so poor and in so much debt. The thought of incurring new debt after I finally got all that stuff paid off
hmm
was very scary. And so I kind of was working through some things. I ended up getting connected to my lawyer, Brett, who's amazing, and
hmm
he told me about this investment crowdfunding.
hmm
And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I do not want people to donate money to me
hmm
because they feel sorry for me that I don't have enough money to do this on my own
Yeah.
or something. I don't like that. And he was like, no, it's not a donation. Like, you can actually have your own kind of version of Shark Tank, and people can invest in you and get money back as your business grows. And I was like, okay, that kind of is interesting to me. And so we started talking about it, and there's a bunch of ways you can do it, but the process is cool because it just became legal in 2016.
hmm
You used to, if you wanted to be an investor, you had to prove your net worth, you had to make a certain amount of money and become accredited and all this stuff. And a few years ago, this law passed that anybody could, and
hmm
they can do it for as little as $100. And I was like, that's really cool. But I want to make sure it's not a donation. I want people to be getting something other than, I didn't want to exchange money for cupcakes for
hmm
this. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be making cupcakes till I'm blue in the face.
Yeah.
And I want people to get more than that.
hmm
And so he told me about WeFunder. And then he told me about his friend Kathleen, who her job, her and her husband, is to help people like me learn and create this campaign, basically,
hmm
this website. She works with people at WeFunder. She has some contacts there, and we all started talking. And which I found out after I was actually being interviewed. Not everyone gets approved. You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to grow a business today and I'm going to go ask for $100,000. They interviewed me. I had to show them my books. I had to tell them about how I grew my business. Which I loved because I knew they were credible. And then we went through the business plan and the numbers and how much do I need and how much can I afford to pay back.
hmm
And we wrote it all down, and hours and hours of working through that. And Kathleen and Scott have been great. And so yeah, we decided, do I want to get a couple people? So I needed about 100,000.
hmm
And so they're like, yeah, you have a great business plan. You can go for a couple real estate investors and call it a day. Or you can kind of make it this like community thing. You have a big community of people who support you. And that's what I loved. I mean, that's honestly what ended up making me decide to go this route to raise money.
hmm
I'm like, anyone can come in for $100 and be they're an investor. I mean, they're a legit investor in the business, and they get money back every quarter, once the house is built and making money. And I like to take things one step further. So now I'm making little certificates for everybody that says they're an investor, and I'm building a wall in the house with their names engraved on it forever, a permanent fixture. So every person who stays there knows how many people it took to get there and create this. And right now I have 55 people, which is, I mean, honestly, it's my favorite part of the house so far is kind of staging that and seeing and knowing that I have 55 people. And it'll probably be about 100 when it's all done, 150 maybe. But it's cool. I love that I have these people who like believe in it.
Still, I mean, 55 people. I remember some of my first business plans. All right. I couldn't get 5 of my friends to go,
Oh,
yeah, I'll
same.
help you. So let's
Same.
talk about that, because, you've gotten people who caught your vision along the way, but your closest friends, how many of them are involved?
A small handful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those ones are great. But I learned very early, and I'm glad I did. Because when I started my cupcake business, I'm like, oh my gosh, all my friends will order from me. They all have parties. And then, I actually my friends are great. They're so supportive of me. But a lot of people who aren't on the same path, who don't have like kind of the mindset of a business owner, they don't get this. They don't get it.
Don't
And
get
that's
vision.
okay. That's okay. I mean, I know I'm a little bit crazy and I have crazy ideas and I'm innovating things, and um, that's okay.
Yeah.
The majority of my support though has come through people who have their own business, um, and who are interested in the way I'm not only running the business but how I'm raising the money.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've kind of, and that was, I'd never expected that people would want me to come and speak about, like I was at a high school speaking to the entrepreneurship class strictly about the process of raising money.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that is so cool to me. I did not think that would be a topic I would ever be educating people on. And now I've learned so much, and it's created so many cool opportunities.
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer the question,
Mm-hmm.
I would say 80% have come from people who I've met through
Yeah,
business.
relationships you've met along the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And then there's quite a few people who are through the platform who
Mm-hmm.
are just investors looking for, it's kind of like a Facebook but for investors.
For
So
investors,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
a social network, and there's updates and news and stuff on there.
And it's
But
called WeFunder, right? Correct. Yeah,
WeFunder, yep.
WeFunder. Yeah, I'll make sure I put
So
that in there. Yeah.
yeah, because my page on there is wefunder.com/celebrate with Sarah,
Okay.
and we all have our own. But it's really cool to see, especially people who I've never met,
Mm-hmm.
who I know nothing about, and then I'll get an email that they invested $500.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they write me this note that they think this idea is amazing and they want to be part of it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even know you.
Yeah.
And like, they don't follow me on Instagram. I mean, there's literally no connection other than my business plan.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like the coolest accomplishment for me.
And it's almost, I mean, I always pick on that phrase of the Kevin Costner, if you build it, they will come. But like, if you just go out there and build it, people are going to find you, and you, I never stop and worry about the naysayers. I don't know if you're that way too. I don't, because
Yeah.
I know a lot, like my childhood best friend now has a blog
Uh-huh.
because he watched what I did. And he's like, Tim, how do I do this? You know what I mean? And I told him and he went and did it,
Yeah.
but in the beginning, like, what?
There's
You're going
a
to have a
lot.
business of your own? Huh? Yeah.
I know. I mean, I still to this day, I more than ever, because now I'm like super out there because I'm having to ask people for money.
Yeah.
There's a lot of naysayers,
Mm-hmm.
and it obviously I'm human, and some of it does bother me, but at the end of the day, I'm like 80% of the feedback probably 90% of the feedback I'm getting is positive.
Mm-hmm.
And the 10% of people who don't get it, they just don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't please everybody. When you're doing something that hasn't been done before, people aren't going to get your vision. That's okay. But 55 people get it so far, and that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I think if I got hung up on the negative, I I would not be where I'm at, because there's a lot of negative.
There is a lot of negative in the world. And it's funny, I mean, I did a broadcast this morning on my Facebook page about a negative situation that happened to me this weekend. It was really, I mean, it knocked me down the way it hit. And there's negative out there.
Oh,
and I tried to twist it around for the positive because, I like to say, in our business model, I'm a speaker and coach. All right. There's no wrong model. You know what I mean? And that's the truth in my business model. And kind of, it's getting to be that way in business. Really, your business model, there's no wrong model because you set it up to work your way. And when you start moving forward, those first couple steps are hard. But when you're running, people are going to be trying to run their asses off to catch you. To go, hey, I want to be part of it now.
Yeah. And honestly, like I love proving people wrong because I'm so stubborn, and so I love it. I mean, I'm like, if you don't believe it now, that's fine. Just just wait. And that's what happened with my dessert business. Same thing. I'm like, it's okay if you think it's a bad idea. Honestly, some of the best, other than the fact that it like drives me, the biggest problems that I've ever had have turned into the best things. Like losing all that money, I ended up getting a judgment for $160 something thousand against those people, and I never saw a dollar of it.
Yeah.
And I was relying on that money, and I was doing all that stuff, and so I love that now that I'm on the other side of that, I can share all the problems I had along the way. Everyone I know who's successful has had problems. A lot of them way bigger than mine.
And it's funny. One of the girls who's, I have two massage girls that I use here
Uh-huh.
for massages. I get a lot of back pain, and
Uh-huh.
one of them I met a couple years ago. She was this girl from like, I want to say like, the Ukraine or something like that. She came to America when she
Okay.
was 18, and she went to work as a waitress and put herself through massage school. Then she was doing massages, and she set it down to a pattern. I could do 100 massages a month for $100 each. That's a nice check to live on.
Yeah.
She was starting to put herself through law school, but then she invested and bought a laundromat, and it
Okay.
failed. So what did she do? She went back into doing massages to keep her bills going, so she wouldn't lose money while the laundromat was losing money,
Uh-huh.
and built her money back up. And that's the go-getiveness that you have. And I think that's one of the reasons that attracted to me is like, okay, this girl may get knocked down, but she's going to keep coming up punching when she comes up. So I want to
Thank
be on
you.
her board on board with her, because she's going somewhere. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean that's the same way when we first met. I was like, that's like one of the best qualities in the people I like to surround myself with.
Yeah.
Um, are people like you and who have that, like, we've all been knocked down a lot of times, and there's just like that fire. I love being around people like that. It
So
just
my phrase is I've lived in the cardboard box and I've lived in the mansion, and I ain't afraid to go to either one ever again.
yeah, yeah.
That's my thing. That's like, that's a mindset for me, is why I say
Mhm.
that. So that makes me go, every choice I make, it's like,
Yeah.
this is either going to lead up or lead down, but I'm making the choice.
Yep. And yeah, I'm the same way. I'm like, I've been, negative in my bank account with $45,000 of credit card debt,
Mm-hmm.
and not knowing how I'm going to pay my car payment.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back to that, but
Yeah.
I know I can survive that.
And
And
it's,
so,
yeah, you just, you find a way to survive. You find a way to do it, but you've got the dream and it's so big. So let me get back to your celebration house. And
mhm.
I know, Nashville's the first one,
Yep.
but there's other areas that you think that maybe you want to go to. You want to name any of those cities yet, or no?
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the way I'm choosing my locations is, are people going there?
Mm-hmm.
And then as a business, is it a good place to be doing business?
Mm-hmm.
How are the taxes? How is it set up for business owners? What's the real estate market? Because I'm purchasing the properties. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
renting it from someone else. I want to own the real estate. So I've set it up so I can, every new property I purchase, it's all set up very simply to just add on to how my businesses are all set. So like right now I created a new business in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's more houses, they'll all go separately underneath, that business.
Mm-hmm.
Texas will probably be the second, either Austin or Dallas,
Mm-hmm.
depending on how the trends are and everything. And I'm a big country music fan. I love the whole Southern charm thing. I don't know if I would ever have one in California. I mean, I love Malibu. But it's
Wait a minute.
not
Who doesn't love Malibu? I mean,
like,
I don't want to live there because I don't want the prices that I have to pay to live there. But I mean, who
exactly,
doesn't love Malibu?
right?
It's a
I mean,
beautiful place.
it is, and I work with a lot of wedding venues
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's a big goal. I mean, talk
Yeah.
about big goals. I mean, that would be a multi-million-dollar property.
Mm-hmm.
That's not happening anytime soon. But then I maybe in wine country, something in Temecula might be nice, or Napa, or
Yeah.
um,
Well, I can see Napa. I mean, you buy a celebration house in Napa, you've got
mhm.
some people who will rent from you all the time, because we go to Napa so much. Yeah.
And well, in those kind of places, it wouldn't be as like girly, and
Yeah.
because it'd be a different market. And so, although men can stay in Nashville, I don't discriminate.
So let me go into that then a bit. So I mean, you're basically you're taking the idea of celebration, celebration houses is not necessarily, this is a girl's celebration house because of the place it's in, but it
Yeah.
may be like Napa may be, hey, a wine retreat.
Yes.
So you're going to go with themes in each area,
Yeah.
almost like boutique hotel theme.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything will be custom to the area, just like all of my dessert tables are custom to the bride and groom's personality. So I want every house to portray the personality of the city it's in, and for the people who are going there for a reason.
Yeah.
I would love something in Miami, a whole tropical, beach
A beach
vibe.
theme. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if Nashville stays how it's we're all projecting, I will probably open a second one in Nashville. The, you know, New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many fun places that people go for milestone events,
Mm-hmm.
that want something extra special. So I see it limitless. Like, oh, then maybe we'll just, instead of contracting out, I'm working with an amazing property manager. Maybe I'll have my own property management company for people who really get,
Yes.
maybe it will go into interior design. Who really knows what it will evolve to?
Mm-hmm.
But the main goal will always be to focus on, like I said, those milestone celebrations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And who knows?
Yeah. So I love it. I mean, you're doing the desserts for now for weddings and stuff, and then you
Yeah.
go into this. Okay, I want to make this a whole house.
Yeah.
It seems like you have the big vision and you're moving towards it, but it also, I love the idea that you're doing it with a little bit of like, well, I'm not going to bet the farm on it quite yet.
Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
I love doing dessert tables.
Mm-hmm.
I love being part of those two people's biggest day of their life
Mm-hmm.
and working with them. And I plan on continuing to do that. But then I'm like, well, if I can affect those two people, I only do one wedding a day because I'm 100% dedicated to them. If I can be impacting, 10 groups of girls around the country in one day,
Yeah.
and creating something, why would I want to limit myself to just working with physically where I have to be working with two people?
Yeah.
And
Well,
so,
it's building the right team, all right, and that
yeah.
takes time, and I get it because like partnership stung. Your
Mm-hmm.
partnership stung as well. I mean, you really are timid at what you reach out to do because
Yeah.
of the fact that you've been stung. And I get it. I want to have as small of company people wise as possible. That's just me.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
yet you want to build a team that can do the same thing you can do.
yes. Yeah, I mean, that was a big, like, I interviewed literally 15 property management companies
Mm-hmm.
because I can't be there. I don't live in Nashville. And I'm like, can you execute? Like, I want fresh flowers when the girls arrive. To me, that's such a cool, I was at a hotel in South Africa that had that on the pillows, and fresh lavender, on the pillows, and then a bouquet of flowers when you walked in. And I never forgot that. And
Mm-hmm.
so all these little details, I wanted to make sure that that could be executed without me having to physically be there. And a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, you're insane. We're not taking on that. And then I met this guy, and he was like, oh my God, I love that you are doing this. He manages hundreds of properties around the country. He's like, no one has ever asked me to do that. And some people see that as really scary, and I see it as really cool. Mm-hmm. That I'm doing something new.
Yeah. No. So I'm really excited. I'm glad that, we Gwen and my wife and I, we jumped
Mm-hmm.
to put money in with you. All right. And when you told it and you shared the idea, you were so enthralled with it that we grabbed your enthusiasm.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't hide it very well. I'm very excited about this.
Yeah. And it's funny because, like I remember because my wife was coming to a mastermind event where she was sharing this, and I'm like, honey, you've got to come meet Sarah. All right. I know she's cute, but that's not why I want to invest in this business. Hear about this business. I want to put our money in this business. And my wife's like, yes. All right. So it's like because my wife always goes, well, yeah, she's a cute young girl. So of course you want to put money in it. No, I'm not putting money into cute young girls anymore. I've been there, done that. All right. Yep. I'm putting money into business things. I'm a business guy now, and I'm sick of my money not growing.
Oh yeah, when you guys jumped on board, and when your wife was there, and I was on the phone with my lawyer. Remember that?
Yeah.
To get some questions answered, and I was like, "Don't leave. I'll be down there in 10 minutes." And and meeting her was awesome, and I love that she gets it, and that you guys are on board with me and helping me share it to so many people, because it has become an educational thing. I thought it's a good idea. Everyone loves it. People are going to jump on board. And then a wall kind of came up. Oh, no one's ever heard of this. Mm-hmm. So now you have to educate people on this very new process. And that's honestly been the biggest challenge. Everyone that I've talked to thinks it's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
but teaching them about this way I'm raising money has been something I wasn't really expecting, I guess, to the
Mm-hmm.
extent of it. And but it's been cool.
So the WeFunder account, let me ask you this, the WeFunder account,
Yeah.
are you going to use this model when you go, say, to move to Texas or move to Miami or something? You're going to use that model again?
No. So the part of the plan of purchasing the property and having, equity and all of that is so then I can leverage the other properties to grow the other ones. And then at that
Okay.
point, once I already have a model, right now, I don't want to go to a bunch of real estate investors or,
Mm-hmm.
private capital or anything because it doesn't exist yet. The house
Mm-hmm.
isn't built. That's what I'm raising money for. And so
Yeah.
once I have the numbers of the whole business, once it's actually a real existing functioning business, then if I needed capital again,
Mm-hmm.
I would have my books and I would have, it would be proven why it's a successful business. And then I would reach out to, my current investors
Mm-hmm.
and maybe just get one or two or three people, depending on how much money I needed at the
Okay.
time,
Cool.
and
Yeah.
then let them and it would be restructured.
Okay.
But for my initial property, I kind of wanted to be able to get a bunch of people forward.
You want to build proof of concept, I think is, yeah.
Yeah. I really want to be able to say, this is what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
It's at this amount of occupancy every month. This is what I charge. This is the feedback I've gotten. This is why I need 10 more of them.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, so everybody, so my listeners know, is like, when she told me this, I'm like, I asked her how much she wanted. I said, how much should I cash out of my stocks and pay it? And she jokingly said the whole amount. What was the whole amount? Was like what?
$107,000.
$107,000. I'm like,
I think I was already like 7,000 in, so I think I said 100,000.
Yeah, it's like, and me and Tony basically went, well, should we can split this. We'll just put it right up. We'll take care of it all for her, right? It's like we wanted to jump to do it, but we want to give other people the opportunity as well. So it's like, let me put something into test. And I said, if this works well, call me when you go to, say, Texas. Now I have corporate structure in Texas. Now I can be another way to help you do it.
Yeah.
And I like that. So I like the fact that you're going to go with us, people who have helped you, and you go, hey, you want to help with the next one. This is how it works. This is the success. You want in. Yeah.
I'm very much a people person. I'm so grateful for the people who have, I had people hire me for their wedding when they really had no business to. I didn't have a successful business yet.
Yeah.
And so I'm so grateful for the people. So
yeah.
That's, why I want as many people to be part of this with me, so I can just have them as my, I want to share the excitement with them.
Yeah.
And teach them about what I'm doing. And I mean, I think the people you surround yourself with that says so much about you. And I mean, I joke all the time. I wish we could just go to Craig's mastermind and just hang out all the time, like, and not work, because I love like that energy.
I do too. Yeah. And it's what built, for me, it's what built my business 8 years ago. All right. So, you get somebody who's been at this for 8 years, and I had a concept when I came to, and my concept is developed. So it works. So I love it. Yeah,
I love it. I love that you and a lot of other people are so excited about it. I mean, I would love to have, so I have like a mock-up of what the investor wall is going to look like. And I've had to change it a few times because so many people are coming on board. And I mean, obviously it's just a mock-up. I don't have the house yet, but I think it would be amazing to have, 300 people, even if, like I said, it was only $100. To me, those people are just as important as the people who put in 1,000 or 5,000.
Yeah.
Because to them, that might be $5,000, but they want to be part of it. And so there's obviously perks for people who invest more. They can get free nights and, lifetime discounts and all of that. But, I mean, to me, everyone who supports it is equally as important to me. They don't have to come and be part of this and give me their money for something that doesn't even exist yet. I don't have a product to give them. They just are trusting me and believing in it. So
cool. So then I'm going to have you give 2 different web addresses, because I know
Okay.
the one right now actually works with the WeFunder account. So I want you to
Yeah.
give that web address. And then I want you also to mention the web address that it's going to be your permanent business, because
Yeah.
people are going to find this years from now after we've already
Yes.
funded and it's done. So,
Right. Yeah. So my business is celebratewithsarah.com, and it
okay.
will link you to the WeFunder page. It's
Okay.
all connected through that. But if you want to go just to the WeFunder and check out that, it's wefunder.com//celebrate with Sarah.
Cool. Cool.
And then on my Celebrate with Sarah website, there's my, a little part about my dessert, and then there's about me, and then there's about Nashville and my foundation. It's all separated on there.
Cool.
And I will be blogging.
Yeah. I wonder who pushed you in to do that.
Yes, I will be doing that. It will be on my website when I get around to it. But I've started jotting a lot of things down.
Cool. So I love it, because so many people, have been influenced by me about blogging. And I really, when I wrote my first blog post, I had no idea that I would be influencing others to blog 8 years later. I thought I was just like putting something on a page that like 5 people were going to read.
That's how I feel too. Not even through blogging. I'm like, I'll post something on Instagram, and then people will message me and say something like, "Oh, that really helped me today," or whatever. And I'm like, you can really have like a bigger impact on people than you think. And I'm just now really realizing that, because I've started to ask for so much help, and it's really cool. Like, you don't realize that how many people you can reach and affect, and they teach you and you teach them, and it's cool.
It's weird. It's like you did say, you know what I mean? You're now going to high schools and you're teaching people of this concept. And like I said, when I started blogging, I had no idea that I would be teaching blogging. I really didn't. I'm like,
Right?
me teach blogging? What? But that goes back to my history was, I mean, when Zig told me to be a speaker, I'm like, me get in front of the room and speak? You kidding? We never understand the fact that the path that we have chosen, we are going to lead someone else through those very dark roads later on in life. And that is, I mean, you're quite a bit younger than me. All right. I've led so many people through paths of things, all right, that I never thought I would be leading people through paths of.
Yeah.
And that's just part of it. When, you're a leader, just like, like people label me as, I don't say I'm a leader, but anyway, you're a leader. You're a leader. And there are people who are going to be looking up to you over the next 20 years. And they're going to say, well, how did you do this? All right. And to me, when someone says, how did you do this? Or what do I owe you for that? It's like, oh my God has put me in a leadership position.
Yep. And it's honestly, that is the best thing. Like, I think that means so much more than any check that anyone's written me or anything, that people just like want to learn from you. And like, even if they don't want to learn from you, even if they just like want to pick your brain about something just because they're curious, or that you've done something that's so intriguing that people are so interested by that. It's, I knew I never wanted to teach people how to make cupcakes. I never wanted to do that. I always thought if I was going to be a speaker, or if I was going to do anything, it would be about something in the business world, or, something like along those lines. And the fact that people ask me questions like that now, that's kind of why I feel like I've been successful.
I want to close this out. You know what I mean? We're coming close to the top of the hour here. And I like to close my podcasts with this fun little game. Are you willing to play a game with me?
Oh, let's see.
Okay, Tim can't read his own writing. He has to put glasses on for the game. It's called This or That.
Oh boy, okay.
I give you about 7 questions, and you got to say one or the other. All right, and
explanation?
both.
Okay.
Not fair. I learned this from watching Sammy Hagar do it on TV. If Sammy Hagar can do it, I can do it.
Sure, why not?
Why not? So here we got 7 questions. This or that. You just got to pick which one's you. And here, ready? 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Aha. Beer or wine?
Wine.
City or country?
Country.
Ah. Coffee, iced or hot?
I drink tea.
You drink tea. Hot or iced?
Depends on the weather.
Oh, okay. Hamburger or taco?
Hamburger.
Me too. hamburger all out. Yeah. So dog or cat?
Dog.
Dog. Okay. Sefu, no offense. All right, I got two there that they got to answer. All right, and people love these ones, but like I don't want to cause any wars. But in our house, it's created wars. I'm just saying. All right.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Toilet paper, under or over?
Over.
That creates wars when you're
Who
married.
does it
Sarah.
under?
Just letting you know. All right. Some people think the other way. All right, and in marriages, almost always one thinks one way, one thinks the other.
Which
I'm
way
just
are you?
warning you for when you get married.
Which way are you?
I've always been like under, but my wife is over, and I like
It's over.
I do it over because let's face it, it's not my house, it's her house.
Exactly.
So the last one here, boxers or briefs?
Well, I don't wear either.
Most girls say that, by the way.
Probably boxer briefs. Isn't that?
Yes, actually, that's what I have on, to tell you the truth. All right.
Yeah, that's like, isn't that what most guys wear?
Yeah, that seems to be the new thing. It's yeah, but anyway, it's like
in 2019, everything is combined.
Yeah. So like this past weekend, there was a gay guy at this function I was at. It was really, he was cute and all, right? I'm not gay, by the way. I'm married now. But we went out to the pool to swim, and he comes out in these what looks like his underwear. And I'm like, and he's a buff guy, and I'm like, you're just trying to show it off, aren't you? And he goes, well, yeah, I want a date.
Good for him. He's
good for him,
Never miss an opportunity.
That's right. So
that is so funny.
So anyway, again, one more time, your website so they can find you, Sarah.
Yeah. What is my website? I've only said it 400 times. CelebrateWithSarah.com.
CelebrateWithSarah.com. All right. Well, guys, this is another Tim Gillette show. And Sarah, I thank you for coming on my show. All right.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing this ideas, because there's stuff that most of us never knew that we could do this.
Mm-hmm.
And we thank you for leading the way. All right. And I look forward to coming and hanging out and seeing this place.
Yes, I can't wait.
So, all right, guys, Tim Gillette Show. We will see you next time. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you can catch all of these interviews as they come out. I'm Tim Gillette, and I'll see you later.